Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Carson.
And today we are watching Tokyo Revengers episode 4. What happened last time?
Last time, Takemichi got pulled out of school by Mikey, which I believe was his name. First thing I want to say right off the bat, first 3 episodes were the censored version of the show. From this point on, we are watching the uncensored. I made sure that is the uncensored version. I found a different version. I thought that we were watching the uncensored version. I didn't know the manji symbol was such a, I didn't even know that it was a part of the show because we started off with the censored version and people thankfully didn't spoil us about anything that happened in the show that was like censored or whatever. So we didn't know anything about it. And now we're watching the uncensored version. So don't worry, from this point on, from episode 4 on, we'll be watching the better version of the show, just so everybody knows. But yeah, he's becoming, more embroiled in the upper echelons of this gang because he's gathering more confidence, because he's looking at things with a new perspective, and that's attracting more people. I had this thought while editing that maybe other people have time traveled as well, that it's not just a thing with him, perhaps. That maybe either his girlfriend, because she said that she was going to protect him too, when he was like breaking down, like, I'm gonna protect you. She was like, stop for a second, like, I'm gonna protect you too. And that could just be a cute, I'm a cute waifu type thing. I had that theory. I also had a theory that Mikey, which I believe was his name again, I don't know if the subs were good or if that was a weird translation of his name. Mikey, the guy, the cool guy with the leader, he alluded to some stuff as well about like not being being different, or I forget what he said, but when they first met, he like dropped a line that like struck me while I was editing. So I don't know, but that's just my theory, that maybe he knows about time travel, or he knows something about something, or whether that was just his intuition that something was off with Takemichi. But he passed the other leader, I forget his name, and he needs to prevent the 2 leaders from meeting, otherwise
but it looks like they're about to meet right now.
Yeah.
And he completely can't remember that guy.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens this episode, and we're excited to get into it. Please leave a like on this video if you end up liking it. Please subscribe. You can check out our Patreon to get a week ahead. Hope you enjoy. Let's go.
People said this opening really grows on you, and I'm already feeling it after watching it while editing.
It's funny because he looks almost younger in his older version. Probably haven't thought about anything. Oh, she has such a cute room.
She has budget dongos in the corner as well. Did you see that?
I know, I was thinking about that. Netflix adaptation.
Oh, classic, the mom like being super intrusive. Who's his dad? Figured. I was just gonna say that. You can't keep alluding to the future all the time. Just because one 8-year-old believed you doesn't mean everyone will. She has a bunch of those budget dongos everywhere.
You seem almost like you're in your 20s or something. I don't know, man. And you're saying weird shit. Cool.
It's less a dongo, those birds in the corner, and it's more like the fucking bird from Gintama. That guy with the bird costume, or whatever the fuck that even is.
Uh-oh. Gonna go forward in time now.
No! At the worst time! I wasn't even thinking that. It's literally about to happen.
Oh my god. Incredible.
I was gonna say, plot twist, he actually killed his sister, he's gay. That's the entire crux of the story. Was he thinking back to that day?
I couldn't hold hands with your 12-year-old sister. What the fuck, bro? We're trying to save her life.
You now understand everything?
What? I thought you were a police officer, not some sort of scientific time travel man. Also, he has like this IV set up.
Yeah, is he, I don't understand. Is he unconscious? He must be unconscious whenever he's been in the past. Yeah, this is where the problem comes in. Is he gets to see the progress that he made in the future, go back and then change it further, so things get really fucking weird.
But you can't go back. He can't go back farther than he's already been. He can only go 12 years to the day.
I know, but he's seeing the future that he's creating as it's happening. Empty shell. Okay. So yeah, he's not. Yeah. Okay. I would have figured that he would be.
Oh yeah, look. Oh, and I saw the other guy. Kill him.
Are you a fucking cop? Is that what a cop believes in? Jesus. I mean, I get the feeling, but he, as a cop, he's expecting this guy to kill him. Ooh. Wait just a sec. What if he does go and talk to him? Will he find out what happened? Like, because he doesn't know what happened in the rest of their relationship, right?
Yeah.
Things should be so different.
Yeah.
So after meeting them and talking to them and becoming friends with them, he went back to the future and he's the same piece of shit. Nobody? He didn't become part of the more of the gang?
Yeah, did he just hang out with him that one time? Like,
because the reason that he left and he escaped was because he was afraid of the being with the gang, right? He was.
Yeah, this time travel.
This is what I mean, where he's seeing what he's updating in the future as it's happening, and then he goes back and sees that.
But it seems to be that not, like, obviously nothing drastically changed.
I just hope that, yeah, that's weird that nothing changed, which means, what does that mean? What could have happened? Wait. Yeah, that's the leader. So he rose up with him, and now he's still a gangster. Wait, what? He's not... Is he going into a different fucking timeline? When he's going back in time, he's going into a different timeline, so none of this matters. Yeah.
But...
Wait, what?
How? I'm sorry, but how do you, person who isn't time travel, is it just because they're connected that he can still remember the alternate past?
Is he remembering the alternate past?
Yeah,
No, they're in the old past. This happened. Right?
We'll have to...
Yeah, see, this doesn't make any sense.
Why?
If this is gonna be a time travel, I need to know why he's still living like this. Like why him in the past wasn't changed by the different set of experiences and his.
He's like having hives.
Yeah, yes, literally has hives. I'm willing to stick with this, but I need to know mushrooms. I need to know whether we're smarter than the show or the show's smarter than us. I'm hoping the show's smarter than us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be right thinking that it's like a weird plot hole or something. I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah. Okay.
It seems like they're still figuring out shit about the timelines and everything. This is right after the fight? Wait.
Okay.
Why would they murder you?
Well, he's a police officer.
But they just murder you? They wouldn't just, like... What kind of gangsters just murder cops just because they're around them?
Wow.
Hostess bar, this is pretty high class. So he's actually running the place. He's not just taking protection money. Oh shit.
Not sounding too sure about that. Whoa. He looks pretty rough.
Yeah, he looks like a gangster. Oh no. He's way more... Doesn't look like the same guy you knew in middle school. Oh, I love how they fuck with you. Or are they?
Because he just wants to hang out with.
I love how they were
making an impression on like all the people who work for him and stuff. And you still look like you're in middle school, just without blonde hair. Why? But why though?
They must know some shit about the time travel, man.
Before it even happened in the first place?
Maybe they experienced it
yeah,
before.
Okay, he knows about it.
Of course he does. Like I just said, there's more people than just him. That's why he knows so much about it, because he can do it too, or he knows somebody else who can do it, or something. He had prior knowledge of it before he was able to do it. Maybe Naoto can do it himself. Kiseki. That's the other guy. So Mikey is the good one. He's the wise king, and Teta's the tyrant.
I wonder how that happened, how he got in the other gang.
After Draken died.
Oh, and he died.
What was supposed to happen? Don't fucking do this. Him?
Wow.
You can tell from the moment we first fucking saw him that he has been beaten the fuck down by life. The last 12 years have not been kind to that guy.
Yeah.
Glad we're watching the uncensored version. It's him. It's Kiseki. Was it really him? The person in the OP had glasses when they were putting out their hand.
But if he only pushed him because he got told to by that guy, then it's that guy
actually doing it.
Yeah.
Good thing you have a cop with you to tell. He's definitely hiding something. If they knew that was going to happen...
But it seemed like they
were both there. Both of them had knowledge of time travel.
just like so many, the people to save is just like piling up.
So, okay. So here's what I think is going on. All that stuff about plot holes may not be as big a deal as we were thinking earlier in the episode. Because the way he recounted the situation that happened that day, he did challenge the big guy. Mm-hmm. And after that, they were at the bus stop talking, right?
Yeah.
So that actually happened. And that was a change. He didn't originally do that.
Yeah.
Originally... their buddy got the shit kicked out of him and got put in the fucking hospital. And they remained slaves until the end of their high school days, or they dropped out, or whatever the hell happened. And some of them remained gangsters, and then, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he left. So now the timeline is, to recap, Takemichi did that, became friends with the leaders, but apparently did not get in deep enough to stay friends with them. Eventually something happened where he cooled off and retired from his delinquent lifestyle and continued to do that. The issue I have with that, it's not an issue. The bump that I was having logically with that is the reason why he was put off so much from that lifestyle to begin with was because it was a terrible life. It was shit. He was so scared of living that life and, you know, broken by it in those few years that he did, that he was willing to give up all of his friendships and hide away in a shitty apartment as a loser for the rest of his life. He would rather do that than go down that path. Understandably, it was shit. But in the time where we got left off, he was living a great time. And so either something later down the line happened that we didn't know about. It's it seems kind of unlikely to me that things would have gone that bad between then and the end of high school. Yeah. Because he was with like the top motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's because...
But there's some shit we don't know because he doesn't know because he went back to the present, so he was on autopilot for the rest of his life.
Well, that's what I was saying. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe he just automatically roots to the same thing every time. If like current him isn't there to make the decisions, he just like goes back into his natural route.
It's just that it was such a drastic change. It was such a drastic
that's
change.
what I was saying as well, because if the reasons why he left simply do not exist anymore,
there must be other reasons.
There must be either other reasons, different circumstances, or that he purposefully didn't do it because he knows about the future. Like, I guess it's hard to say, but it does seem like there should have been some sort of difference, especially...
When he was going through his stuff, I thought that there would be some kind of difference. I thought that there would be some evidence that his life had changed.
But he just did apparently everything the exact same. Even the same apartment, same shitty food, same everything. Yeah. Garbage all over the place. Which I guess is good because they were able to find it and go through his stuff.
But it seems to me either something's going to be revealed, like... It's just like, why doesn't Naoto... Like, okay, if Naoto can't time travel... Or, it's my theory that he can time travel, so that might change this reasoning a bit, but just follow me on this logic. Audience, who knows what's going to happen. If Naoto has been studying this, and if Naoto was told... But this isn't... I have more to say about Naoto being a time traveler possibly in a second, but following the logic that he's just a detective police boy who got told about time travel when he was like in early middle school, late elementary school. When he was a little kid, he learned about time travel, and then followed that route for the rest of his life, studying it, following Takemichi's life, making sure that he stays alive till the moment where he can talk to him 12 years afterwards. Which, by the way, weird that he knows about the 12-year rule. You were saying that that's kind of convenient. Well, maybe there's some reason to it anyway. That's where it gets more complicated. Regardless, if Takemichi goes back in time, he's multiple times now, and he changes events, then he goes back to the present. I'm not saying everything needs to be the butterfly effect, right? Everything doesn't need to have the same time travel logic necessarily. However, if you change key events that cause the future, direct causes for the future, and then return to the present, Naoto should not be surprised about that unless he's a time traveler.
Well, no, this is what I was gonna say.
Unless he knows about it.
This is my thing. Naoto is likely looped in to all the loops that they're gonna be making just because they're connected, like with the handshake and everything. I don't think that he himself can time travel, but I do think he is able to retain the information of the alternate timelines, which is why he's surprised by, oh, this guy didn't actually stab that guy.
Even if he can understand the memories from multiple timelines, he must know the situation of the reality that he has lived through for the past 12 years. It shouldn't be a change to him that this or that happened, or that this is a mystery, or this or that, or, you know, it's interesting that, and I don't know if it's a plot hole, I don't know what the deal is, but it seems weird to me that he's surprised about shit, and that he doesn't know, what the fuck was it? It's almost like
but he's clearly conscious because he's taking care of him. Well, Takemichi is laid out, passed out, he's taking care of him, but then, I guess maybe it's just when he comes back, the timeline resets, but he doesn't have any memory of it. That's weird as well, because he's not going back in time, but he's also not remembering the current timeline. Yeah, I don't know, but that might just be a
we might be dealing with a railroaded timeline, like a cause. If there are true causality loops and you cannot change the past, that could be the road that it's going in, where he's going back and he thinks he's doing everything, but he literally is doing different things.
He's already done different stuff. He's already changed the future.
That's where the rub happens. It's full causality loop fuckery, because he goes back in the past, he changes things, he goes back to the future, and it's not, oh, I'm in a different timeline. The changes I made did not occur here. I did not challenge that guy. I continued on the same path that I did.
Yeah, and it's because he can only go back 12 years exactly to the day. So everything has to be different, because he doesn't have the luxury of, oh, I'll go and not challenge that guy this time. That's done. It's set in stone. He has challenged that guy in the new past, and there can now never be a future version. As far as we know. But it seems, in the way that he is able to do it, if it's 12 years to the day exactly, then I kind of like that, because at least it gives some structure of, like, you can't just keep doing the same shit. If he fucks up too badly in the past, he has to do something else to fix it. You know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't prevent them from meeting in the first place, he has to do something else.
Actively do something, rather than prevent something from happening.
Yeah.
To actively change the course, not just, divert it in a different direction before something can take place. It's gonna get real confusing, I can tell already, and it's probably good that we haven't been watching week to week, because we wouldn't. This definitely seems like a show that's better binged. Anything with time travel usually is.
Just to help you have to keep it fresh in your mind.
I just really, really hope that these bumps in logic, or these bits of confusion that I'm feeling, are direct intentional setups by the show, and not like, oh, they don't understand how time travel would work theoretically. They forgot that, once you change something, you can't have the loser, you can't have the thing where he's in the exact same position. So it makes me think that there's either another time traveler, which seems probable, because Akun just said, you can go to the past, can't you? He's figuring it out, and he's just a pawn in somebody else's game, and the other guy was watching that entire time, and he took over the shit. And Naoto and Akun and possibly that other fucking guy, Kisaki, were there when he got pushed onto the tracks, that was not a random event. That was actively caused. And if time travel is a main thing here, it is not. It is part of a greater scheme. The fact that they all knew that was going to happen, and this is a show about time travel, makes me think that that was a key event in the future of all of these people's lives, and they needed to be there to either make sure that he dies or make sure that he is saved for whatever reason.
So what I'm thinking on that is, if there's another time traveler in the midst, it is potentially Kisaki.
Yeah.
Because Akun obviously didn't know, like, he was just kind of putting it together after the fact, after he got the job, pushed this guy into the train tracks, and then he witnessed this other guy know exactly what was going to happen, exactly when, and save him, even though it shouldn't have been, like, no one's reaction time would have been that good to be able to save him. So he suspects some fuckery, and then also probably is questioning, okay, well, they knew about this and that, so, but then it's unclear of, the other guy must have been time traveling before to be aware that then another time traveler comes into the mix, you know what I mean? Like, it's
yes, this is getting into
if
there's
two
a
different
called,
people are changing the realities at once, then we're getting into some real fuckery.
There's a fucking movie called, I'm gonna look up this movie. If you guys love time travel out there and you have not seen this movie, complicated time travel movie. Primer, it's an indie film. It is super confusing, but in the way that it is filmed to be confusing, because it's a film about how confusing time travel has to be in order to make sense. Because people start, I guess I won't spoil it. People go back in time, and then there's two of them because they don't just, it's a different function. But it's like that, where if there are multiple people in that movie, there's like multiple people fucking with time, and then it influences why you would go back in the past and causes causality loops. But not only that, it like loops in the causality loop with a different timeline, or a different person who, like, in the future, somebody who has time traveled then went into the future, then time traveled again further back, or in between, and goes forward. Now there's like 50 different people and you can't tell the difference. Anyway, cool movie, you should check it out. Primer. If you have multiple people time traveling, it gets really fucking squirrely. But what was I gonna say? Oh, Mikey. If I was right that Mikey could also time travel, maybe the reason he hasn't been seen is because he's been going back in time and either reliving before Draken died. So we know Draken died here. Oh, the other thing, I don't even want to get into that. That's 1 second. Kiyomasu got stabbed in the past, in this current past.
I thought that was the previous past.
Was that the previous past?
We need to go back and look. That was what originally happened in the original timeline.
Then why wouldn't Takemichi remember that?
It was at a different time. It was after Takemichi left, I'm pretty sure. That then they were still getting bullied by this fucking guy, and eventually he stabbed him or something, is what I took out of that. But I could be wrong. Let's just watch it again.
16, so this is later.
Yeah,
this is way later.
See, that's what I thought. In the original timeline, he didn't stab him then, but considering it had been on his mind since he was...
No, this is current timeline.
But he's saying something's not right here. He was arrested, and he was nothing more than some no-name punk in the original timeline.
Is that what he's saying?
Yes, I don't think that's what he's saying.
I think he's saying it's weird that he was just a nobody and now he's out and owning this place. Something's not right here. When he was 16, he was arrested after stabbing Kiyomasu. This is what has happened in the current past. After his release...
But he didn't now, because the past has changed. He never stabbed him, and he was never arrested, so he continued on in the gang life.
So okay, that gives some proper context. So I think you are right, that because they're linked with the time travel, he can remember things of the past.
Yeah.
Of the previous timelines.
Yeah.
Whereas in this timeline, he never stabbed, he never got arrested, he rose to the top in this gang, became somebody's fucking lackey, and is now running this place. Okay. So he never stabbed Kiyomasu.
He never stabbed. In the original timeline,
yes,
he did. But in the current timeline, he did not.
Okay. Okay, that clears up a lot of confusion. But it further solidifies that Naoto has more to do with this time travel thing than he's leading on to Takemichi. And I think he's withholding information to Takemichi because either he time traveled before, or he has worked with another person who has time traveled before, and he's already changed the past, or he's done some shit, or he's aware of it, or he's been on their trail, or something. He knows about it, and he's not telling him all the information so that he doesn't go back and then fuck things up beyond belief by, like, telling more people about the specifics of it or something.
Well, here's the thing. I don't necessarily think he's worked with other time travelers before. I think he just never mentioned this guy because he literally was not even relevant before. So he just didn't even think about it. And then now there's all this sort of things that can happen. And this is also the problem of having time travel. Like, there's also different types of time travel. This is what I wanted to talk about earlier.
Right.
There's the type of time travel, like in Harry Potter with the time turner. You can go back, but you have to relive every second of that timeline, and there's 2 of you in that timeline.
Yeah.
You have to get up, and once you meet at the point is when the new timeline snaps into place.
Yeah, you sort of snap back into your body, basically.
Yeah. So, no, you don't. The current one takes over once you get to that point.
Yeah, because
your other body disappears.
Right, because you went back.
And, basically it's kind of like that. I don't know what, like, if that's just kind of looping forever in eternity,
that becomes a causality loop.
Yeah,
you're literally, like, looping back around and then
reliving. But the
reliving.
future after that is now, it's now set, but you lived every moment of it, so you know everything that went on. This type of time travel is actually more complicated.
Yes.
Because the especially with the 12-year time difference, you go back and if he wanted to, if he just never, like, purposefully never touch, like, if he could potentially, if he was careful, go back and live the entire time, the entire 12 years up to the point.
As if he hadn't time traveled.
As if he hadn't time traveled. And therefore being able to, like, purposefully change everything. But as he's doing right now, it's just doing one thing, coming back and checking, and that's a much more risky way of doing things.
It's far more complicated because just the fact that the person going back knows how they're affecting the future, that knowledge affects your actions when you go back, and then that affects like, if you just kept trying to change it along one linear path until you got back to the present, just organically, your actions would be different than if you're going, okay, I jump back and then change things and then go back to even further in the future, then go back and then change things.
And this is the problem as well, because first he was going back to save one person, change one thing, and now there are 2 other deaths that he needs to prevent, as well as just, like, so many other things. And I have a feeling if he continues down this path of coming back to the future so frequently, it's going to get overwhelming and he won't be able to save everyone, because...
What if he ends up pushing himself?
That would be... Just to start the loop again or something? Like, that's...
Or to stop it. Maybe he has to go back, and maybe he has to go back 12 years past that to himself and push himself and prevent himself from being saved.
Except he's only one person, so he can't exist twice in the timeline.
That's true.
And this is the other thing, is he wasn't pushed by the same person in both timelines, because in this timeline that we were just in, he was pushed by his former friend who never stabbed the guy and rose up to the top ranks in the gang. In the first timeline, this guy was an absolute nobody and not affiliated in any way. So, it could have been someone else. It could, you know what I mean?
I think that it's the same thing. Wait. Okay, so you're saying before it was possibly Kisaki or somebody else.
Yeah.
Then as that doesn't make sense because he went back in time. Does that make sense? Am I lost?
I think it would make sense.
What has happened in the... Wait, no, hang on. Let me explain my question and then you can answer it. What could have possibly changed that he has done to change the person who pushed him off?
Kisaki would not have picked... Okay, right now Kisaki picked one of the top guys in his gang on a trusted mission to fucking murder someone in broad daylight at a train station. If Kisaki went up to just a random nobody, or he might have even still been in jail at that point, I don't know, he stabbed someone less than 5 years prior.
That's not Kisaki.
No, I'm saying Kisaki wouldn't have found a random person off the street and been like, oh, hey, can you go stab your old friend just because I told you to?
He said he did it. I don't know if he actually did.
Well, that's the other thing.
This seems like a very like, the reason I'm questioning anything we're being told right now is, one, this is a time travel show. Second, the guy was there. It's as if this was known to happen. This is a time travel show. It wasn't just, in the heat of the moment, I'm gonna take him up and then jump off while saying save everybody. The guy was there listening and watching this encounter as if they knew it was going to happen. It seemed more like a performance of, I need to kill myself right now to set these actions in motion. There's more people involved in this time travel thing. Maybe in the past, maybe Naoto has told more people, or word got out that this happened or something. So there's clearly information that time travel is possible, and that there are ways that people are trying to influence the past through Takemichi, whether he's the only one who can do it, or through their own means, or maybe they can't go back anymore or something. There's shit going on here that is more complicated than just, they went back in the past, changed it, now they're coming back, and now this guy's different and he kills himself in front of him. Mm-hmm. A guy was sitting there listening. The guy who ordered him to push him off, supposedly, was sitting there. He could have ordered him to jump off himself if he was willing to push his best friend into the train tracks.
The other possibility is he might not have even known who he looks like pretty well completely different in terms of...
I doubt he had no idea of their connection. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Why? First of all, just ask yourself this. Say everything they're saying is true. Why would he ask him to push him in front of the train tracks? Why? What reason would he have if he was just a nobody? If he was just a nobody living in a shitty apartment, working at a manga cafe, what does that have to do with anything? The only relevance that he has to anyone's plans is that he can time travel, and that he knows Naoto, who's onto them or something. But he didn't even know him before. By normal real life logic, he has zero connection whatsoever to any of this. However, he did time travel and influence and become more involved in them as it goes on, and I imagine as the show goes on, he'll become more and more embroiled in that lifestyle. So, if he really did order him to kill his best friend by pushing him on the train tracks, why the fuck would he go through with it? Unless he knows some shit about time travel, which he admittedly does himself. He said, you probably went back in the past, didn't you? Yeah. Right before he died, and then killed himself while the other guy was watching, who ordered him to kill him. He could have just ordered him to kill himself to set some things in motion. That's the only reason why, like, if I'm thinking, okay, if he was there listening to make sure things went as planned, if there was a plan, like, say there's a plan, if he's there listening to say there's a plan, to make sure that things go according to plan, then, fuck, I lost my train of thought. No, this is so complicated. Why would he, if say it was a performance, say that was like, say he did order him to kill himself in front of him. Why would he do that?
Yeah, unless he believes
Unless he knows that he can, unless he knows that Takemichi can time travel, it doesn't make any other sense. Mm-hmm. Why would he, like, if he did order him?
But what if he didn't
Unless he was just coincidentally, randomly there, which is dumb.
Well, he could be following Takemichi just...
Himself? Why would he follow him himself? What reason would he have? The only reason that makes sense is he knows about time travel. And the fact that Akun said, you probably went back to the past. This is enough. We've talked about this enough. I think that we've drilled down to this conclusion. The only way we're going to know more is if we watch more. I think, so here's what let's finalize our theories for going forward. I think Kisaki can also has access to time travel, or at the very least planned out this event at the very least, and planned out trying to kill or push Takemichi on the tracks. Mm-hmm. He planned that out in relation to his knowledge of time travel, whether or not he himself can time travel. I think Naoto knows more about time travel than he's letting on. He found out all this information somehow.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't just figure it out randomly. So he's hiding things from Takemichi. That's my other thing that I'm relatively certain on. I could be wrong. I don't know. This is just theory crafting. My third thing that's less sure is the fact that Mikey is so elusive in the future and nobody knows where he is and he's hiding from the cops and shit. I think that and the fact that, I forget what he said. I want to go back and see what he said. But when he first talked to Takemichi, when he was fighting that guy, he alluded to like being old, looking older, or acting older, or acting more mature, or something, and more in a foreshadowy type way that kind of struck me while I was editing. So in relation to that, I think that Mikey is in some way has some access to time travel. That's a wild card theory I'm tacking onto that. What are you thinking for all this?
I'm thinking that Kiseki knows something. I'm not sure on Mikey because I think, I don't know, like, what he would, like, if he would have gone back and changed to, like, not murder an innocent girl on accident, or, like, save his, like, second in command and best friend, like, if he would have done something differently of that. And I don't know if Naoto knows something more. I honestly kind of don't think so. I kind of think that he's just going with his best guess, and just he feels confident in it because he's had 12 years to sort of craft his own theory about their very specific experience, and he has all these hypotheses of, oh, I think the handshake is the thing because that's when it happened or whatever. And then they test it and it is confirmed. He says, when you go back, find young me and grab my hand. And then if that works, then we'll know it works. And then it did work. And he said, yes, now we know. This is for sure how you get forward and back.
Why was he there when when Takemichi got pushed onto the tracks? Why was he there?
Didn't he get told in the previous timeline?
No.
Because, he would have known.
That was the first...
Here's the thing. He would have known the day. He would have known... Because he says 12 years in the future this happens. He can't save the sister.
He got pushed in front of the tracks before he ever went back in time. Before he ever went back in time and changed anything, Naoto didn't know about anything.
But he might have not saved him in the first timeline until afterwards. Like, in the first timeline, he could have just got fucking smacked by that train.
And then sent back in time?
Sent him back in time, maybe? And then... I'm not sure. See, then we're getting into, like, how many times does it loop around and how many...
I think that's going to be the mind-numbing, like, climax-inducing shit. Like, figuring out how many things have looped, how many times people have gone back, or how much things have changed from the prime timeline.
Well, we
possibly, that might have something to do with it. But, like, just think about it. This is a time travel show, and it seems like things are not changed. Like, when he was in his original past, when we first saw him in the first episode, all of these things that he has done were not affecting that timeline. As far as we know. There might be some, like, memory erasure thing that we're not factoring in because we don't know about it yet, where, like, he'd gone back so many times and changed all the past to be what he now knows it to be, but doesn't remember doing all the shit to change it, so he only remembers that one timeline. And then now he's going back down the road to change all of those things and put all that, and then creating a super knotted, tangled mess that he's gonna have to fuck his brain over in order to be sane again or something like that. But as far as we know, in the first episode, all of these actions he's taken up to this point were not affecting it. He was in a prime timeline.
Well,
So then, what? Okay, maybe he just got hit by the train and got sent back in time. But the way we just saw it, and the way Akun stated it, like, how did all that happen? We know he got pushed, right? Did he just get randomly pushed by a completely random... Is that what we're meant to believe? I don't think so.
No,
I don't think he got pushed by a random person.
That's what I'm saying. I think Kiseki knows more shit and ordered him to get pushed.
Yeah.
The first time. But whether or not he got saved, like, unclear to me. You know what I mean?
I guess that's fair. I think...
Because the first timeline was definitely the first one. I don't think we had
I don't agree with that. Why do you think it's definitely the first one?
I think it's his first time... I think the first time we saw him time traveling was his first thing. Because or else it just gets completely crazy. I would like to believe that there is enough structure that the rules for his time travel, his 12 years to the day, sticks. Is what I would like, and if Kiseki is also time traveling, that he also is confined to his own rules in some way. You know what I mean?
Let's look back at when he time traveled the first time. So, okay, what happened? He's waiting for the train. He's living his shitty life. Somebody comes up behind him and pushes him. Right? Definitely a hand pushed him.
Yeah.
Right? Do we see Naoto? Is there gonna be some weird Easter egg where we can see him in the background in a scene or something? Are we spoiling ourselves? I don't fucking care. Look around at all of these identical black-haired business suit attire type people. Let's look around. Do we see anybody? Is he possibly on the other platform? I don't see Naoto, but we are in the perspective of somebody watching him about to push him in. Please stand behind the yellow line. He's standing on the yellow line.
First mistake.
Nobody in the background here. How skillfully did they do this scene? He's also wearing Red Cross shoes. I think that must mean something. Okay, nothing so far. He's pushed in front of the train. They could just not be showing this. Nobody on the platforms now.
Nobody's helping him up.
It looks like he just got hit by the train.
I think he did because, yeah, see, he's just there.
Didn't remember my parents are friends. Tachibana Hinata. Maybe she's connected. Maybe just because, maybe she has more. Wait. I said, when in this episode, she's just like, I'll protect you too. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was right, and she really does have time travel powers, and she's the missing link, and that's why she was killed. Maybe she was killed for a reason after she had already fucked with time or fucked with them. Maybe she got involved with Mikey, and that's why she was involved with the gang at first. Maybe she was being used by Kiseki. Maybe she's the missing link between all this.
Let's see.
So then he just gets transported.
Then he just wakes up.
Right?
See, what I'm thinking from this is that he just got hit by the train that first time, and
somebody pushed him. Who pushed him? It doesn't make sense for him to just randomly get hit by a random train. If somebody pushed, if he tripped and fell, that would be one thing, and all this was shit got set in. But it was set into motion on purpose. I guess what
I'm saying is I think that he did get pushed, but I don't think that in his first timeline he would have got saved. I think if he had not got back in time, he wouldn't have gotten saved.
Maybe Naoto pushed him, and that's why he went back on time. If their touch initiates the time travel.
Maybe, but it's more instant. Usually.
And maybe if they have a link, maybe he also has a link with her. Because brother and sister, maybe that's something, I don't know.
Can you go to where he wakes up in the
So the first time he got sent back, he did touch Naoto. So here he wakes up in the hospital and Naoto's just there. Already waiting for him. And he's in the hospital.
But see, this is what I'm saying is originally he wouldn't have gotten saved, but this that we're seeing there is after he already talked to him and let him in on what was going to happen in the future. So it makes sense that he would be sitting there waiting. Yeah.
Right. Well, no. Or no, he did. No, he did tell him. That first time, he did tell him. And that maybe is the catalyst event that changed Naoto.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But then why would they kill Hinata? Why? They just killed her?
It was an random accident.
Was it? It was reported by the news as an accident. I'm saying that was a purposeful act. I don't want to analyze the OP too much because it's always a fucking dead giveaway. If I pick up on something, that's one thing, but I'm not going to scrub through the OP and like just literally spoil myself on the entire show. I think she knows about it. I think that I think it's possible she might know something. I think it's possible that she might be some sort of missing link in all this, and that's why she was killed to begin with.
Yeah, because if someone else could time travel, like, yeah.
Inciting what I'm trying to, I guess what we're really trying to pin down here is what is the inciting incident? Where did the plot lines diverge? What is the catalyst for the plot lines diverging? Was it her dying? Was there something that influenced them wanting to kill her? If so, what is that? Why would they want to kill her? Does that mean she's connected to time travel? Or does that mean she's connected to him and he's connected to time travel and they knew that? Otherwise, why would they just randomly kill her? Or was it just random? Was it just all random?
Here's the other possibility. It could be just random. And like that could just be a thing. But the real reason is someone set Takemichi into time travel mode by pushing him in front of the train. Now, it could be that the person just wanted to stop him from being able to time travel and didn't know that this was the trigger for him to time travel in the first place. Because, you know what I mean?
Didn't know.
Because...
Then why would they push him?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. They could know that he did time travel, but what they didn't know is that they actually caused him to time travel because they started the whole shit, you know what I mean?
So maybe this is like with way down in line in the future, this person possibly goes back or influences, the person who pushed him gets influenced either by somebody coming back from the future or by knowledge of what's going to happen. Yeah. Some kind of time travel shit is influencing him, and he thinks, I need to stop this before it begins.
But what he doesn't realize is that he's actually
setting it in motion. Either there's something in the time travel that's going to change, and it's Takemichi. It might be Naoto, since they have the connection. Mm-hmm. If he time traveled right after he got pushed, we never saw him actually get hit. We saw him in an instant get pushed and then go back in time. So, and I just want to see if it's a female hand. Are they going to have long fingernails that we just didn't notice?
No, it's like a dude hand.
It looks like a dude hand. Is that a red herring?
Everyone else watching this show just like... Okay, wait, let's look at the hand, and then let's go and look at the hands...
of every single person. Is it a dude hand?
I think it looks like a dude hand. Generic hand. Like it's
very
quite
androgynous.
Wide, like a wide set
when it
hand.
first appears, it looks like it could be either. But when it splays out, it looks more like a dude hand.
This would be funny if these were like real people and they had actually just hired like a hand model for this scene or whatever. Like,
that looks like a dude hand.
Yeah.
That looks like very
And
much
also
a dude
you have to remember that the amount of force and like, because Takemichi is quite short. Well, it seems to be when he's compared to other people. That's
a stretch. People in anime get pushed into pushed through concrete buildings.
And
all
I
the
guess
time.
he's not hanging around, but like the force on like that part of someone to propel them forward enough that they can't catch themselves and they fall straight in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't be able to do that to you, for example. Because
if I don't know, if I'm standing on the edge of the platform and all you do is just bam, you could easily push me. A 5' nothing like fucking 5-year-old girl could push me off a platform if I'm standing on the edge of a platform.
I guess I'm like analyzing the angle.
Watch where he gets touched. I wish that didn't happen right now. Watch where he gets touched. If he gets touched on the neck and the back of the head, I'm saying it's fucking Naoto or...
He gets touched on the hair.
It's not on the shirt. It's on his flesh. On his matter. Right on the back of the head, he gets shoved. Right? It wasn't... He didn't just get pushed in the backpack.
Yeah, but it's a handshake. So what...
Does it have to... Oh, the fingerprints
okay, no.
Listen. To time travel.
This, we can keep that in mind, but what we have to think about is watching them just closely from now on to see if they can if it's any type of touch between them, or if it's well, I mean, at the same time he did put an IV in him, later and nothing happened.
Maybe he was wearing gloves.
Who knows?
If he was putting an IV in, maybe he was probably wearing gloves. Otherwise, he would get the wound infected.
But then it's like, does hair count? Isn't hair kind of the same as a shirt?
If you have short hair, if you like reach in and touch the back of my head.
I didn't reach it. He didn't reach in. He went like that.
If your fingerprint touches like the part in the top of your head, that's flesh. His neck is exposed. It's his cells, so that might be the contact point. I'm saying it wasn't his backpack, it wasn't his shirt, it was his head. That means something. If we are introduced with the only way you can go back in time every single time after getting hit by a train is touch, and the only single time that we are probably going to see him go back in time is the first time where Naoto wasn't there, you know? Mm-hmm. But he did get touched. He also got touched right before it, an instant before it. Time slowed down for him, because of the adrenaline. But for that instant, he did get touched, and it was by this phantom hand that was pushing him in. I'm saying that doesn't seem like a coincidence. It could be. Maybe we're thinking about it too much, and he was killing him because he blames him for his sister dying. It was like the day or the day after his sister died, and in this prime timeline, possibly nothing was fucked with. I think it was. If nothing was fucked with, maybe he was just pissed off that Takemichi was in a gang in middle school and got his sister wrapped up in the gang violence, and then she went down that rabbit hole.
Unless Naoto had gone back previously and pushed him in from that reason, I don't think that in the original timeline with no interference he would have done that. Personally, I don't think
it's possible. Think about this. Here, okay, I think you're right. I'm more on your side. But playing devil's advocate, the other side is maybe he would have killed him because he instantly wanted. Why didn't you kill him? Why didn't you kill Kisaki? He was right there. You should have just fucking killed him right there. He killed my sister. That's his attitude towards people who are involved in this. He thinks this person caused my sister's death. Fuck him. I don't care if I'm a cop. I don't care. That's my sister. Kill him. You didn't kill him? He was surprised that you didn't kill him. I guess
the thing is, in the original timeline, why would he go after someone who literally hadn't been involved in gangs? First of all, in the original timeline, he never met him. He never even once met him. You know?
True.
So how would he recognize him who looks completely different, by the way? He's not a cop in the original time. Well, who knows whether he was a cop in the original timeline.
His dad was a cop. It's possible he still became a cop.
But he says that originally he didn't like his dad. He didn't like his dad until he had that conversation, and then he decided he wanted to be like his dad. That was mentioned, that originally he did not like him and did not look up to him.
Let's watch the intro to the first episode again. July. Because they talk about both of them. Hang on. In the newscast, they said they both died. We can watch it. It says they both died. Maybe they didn't. Who knows?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Who knows if they did? Did they? Tragedy unfolds as large truck drives into shopping district during festival, escalating Tokyo Manji gang. Between the gang. The gang.
Yeah,
so it's intra-gang violence.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the two leaders of the two gangs had met, and then that's why they were...
Maybe that's why Draken died. He probably died before that. Or maybe he died and that led to the conflict.
Well, what they said
is
that Draken died, and he...
Hasn't been the same
and
since.
He wasn't the same afterwards, which I'm thinking is probably Kisaki killed Draken, or was responsible for the death,
yes.
And then that's what started the real feud between them.
Right. I'm on the same page there. Okay, now, truck crashes in, kills 6 people. That's an important number.
No, it's 6 people were in it, but I think... Wait, let's see.
Claimed innocent victims. 6 were injured. Okay.
Yeah.
One was sent to the hospital. One was sent to the hospital.
Let's just keep...
But is in cardiopulmonary arrest. That sounds like a heart attack, but I'm just going to look up what that means because I'm not entirely sure. Is the cessation of adequate heart function or respiration results in death without reversal, often condition found in patients with coronary artery disease. So somebody has high blood pressure and they died. Cops have high blood pressure.
Yeah, see, now there was people that were injured and there's people that were dead.
6 injured, 1 sent to the hospital. So that means 7?
And then the people who died.
Ones who died at the scene. Tachibana Naoto. Okay, so he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, see, so there was 6 people who were injured, 1 person in the hospital, and 2 dead. Yeah, no, see, that was the end. The MPD is on high alert.
Okay,
they
ended the sentence. So they both died. So are we to believe that Naoto... So, I'm gonna assume that he's dead. I don't know, like, they are saying that he is dead? You never know what is real. They could eventually pull an Uno reverse card. No, he didn't die there. He actually went and killed fucking Takemichi. Who knows? I think he's dead. One person was in the hospital about to die, or... Either a third person was about to die, or Naoto or somebody, or one of those two were in the hospital about to die. The third person I would assume is probably Mikey, if I had to assume, or Aku.
But here's the thing, though. If it was someone from the gang, like, if any of the people in the gang were, like, treated, they would have been also arrested, and taken down because they're highly known members of the gang. So
they could just be a person of interest. If they got injured too, they probably wouldn't be blamed for the incident.
I mean, I think they would be.
If they were nearly going to die in the hospital after they got... Why would they be blamed for these people's deaths if they also got hurt?
If they were perhaps driving the truck that crashed into innocent civilians?
That's different. We also didn't get those details. You're right. That's one possibility, sure. Okay, then the question is, so if in order for Takemichi to get pushed, I assume that some time travel influenced that decision to push him. Mm-hmm. Right? That's a relatively safe assumption. It could be random. I think it's a relatively safe assumption. Somebody who knows about the shit is pushing him, either related to that incident or wanted to change that incident. Possibly Naoto did not die. They reported him as dead, but he did not die. If he is a cop, he could have told them to report him as dead for the sake of the investigation. Maybe? Possibly. Or it was Kisaki, or it was Akun ordered by Kisaki, or it was somebody completely different that we don't know. Could have been Mikey, who knows? Safe to say, that person was probably influenced by time travel. If that person was influenced by time travel, were Hinata and Naoto also influenced by time travel? Do they know about that, and is that why they were killed in that accident? Were they targeted because of this knowledge? Were they together? Did they have some sort of link and they could time travel?
Or were they just hanging out at the festival?
They could have possibly been hanging out. It seems too specific is my problem. It seems way too specific that all of these people are targets, all of these people are involved in this, and there's time travel afoot, and they just randomly got killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just randomly got killed. That's it. Possibly, but it seems like it was a plan. The fact that if you look at the scene, this truck was like fucking aiming at them. Like it didn't just go off the road and kill like 50 people along the sidewalk.
Well, they could have also been in the store and like a ton of other people got injured, but
why would they die? Of all the people who could die, was it really that random? It just seems too specific to be random.
I guess I'm for it either way, whether it was targeted or whether it was random, because I think both could be equally as interesting. Either they were targeted or it was a random event that then like became unrandom, like that
due to him going back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it all goes back to, even if their deaths were random, so all of these people, like, just think, wait, let me finish. All of these people are connected in this story. Everyone is connected to this gang. Everyone is connected to each other. Through, like, as of now in the story, all of these characters are connected in this. Mm-hmm. 2 of the people who are directly connected to all of this die in the prime quote-unquote timeline that we know of. The same day, the guy who we now know is a time traveler gets pushed onto the tracks.
And that wasn't the same day. It's days later. 4 days later.
4 days later, after 2 people who are directly connected to all of this Another one gets pushed onto the train tracks inexplicably. All 3 out of the fucking 10 people involved here get murdered, and he was murdered. He was murdered because he got pushed.
Yes.
And they were murdered presumably because they got targeted by a car. Even if they didn't get murdered, they died 4 days later. Whatever it was, he gets murdered. Here's
the other thing. It's that the reason that I would be likely to side with you on that it was not random was that Hinata dies in the second version of the timeline, as even once Naoto knows the day that she dies,
she still dies.
Which it makes me think...
in the same accident.
Which makes me believe that it... Was it in the same one? Did we get a description?
We saw the picture.
Okay.
And we saw the picture. I remember that specific picture being shown later.
Okay.
It was the same picture of the truck.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that, because if it had been in a different way as well, then that would have been even more suspicious.
Honestly, in terms of time travel, I think her getting killed in the exact same way shows more accidental death evidence, possibly, as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If it was she still died...
It wasn't an accident.
But it was a completely unrelated thing.
You can't fucking convince me. If it happens twice in a row the exact same way, and it was just and the exact same way as Naoto is spending 12 years trying to prevent it, and it still happened, either he had a hand in it, which I doubt, or it's like it's fated to happen, or something, it just doesn't make any sense. It's one of those
things that you can't change. Like, it's like that event in the timeline can't unchange. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think that's probably good for this episode.
Yes. Okay, let's just close it off once again, summing up what we think is the deal. What are your final theories about who's involved or what is leading to all of this?
I feel like we've been talking about it. I genuinely don't know what the thing is that I most believe, but for right now, I am content to believe most of what the show is telling me and speculate on other things, but there's nothing else that I believe in. I do believe that Kisaki probably knows.
You aren't willing to put your neck out for any of the theories we talked about for the last hour.
I'm saying I like some of them.
But you don't believe any of them?
I just said I believe Kisaki knows more, but I do not believe that Naoto was time traveling previous to like this type of time travel. I don't think he knew anything prior to this, other than what we've been told. And I think that Hinata I think she might have been killed on purpose, depending on like what the other time travelers are doing. Yeah.
I want to look at the ending. I don't want to analyze the OP, but I want to watch the ending. So she's got the 4-leaf clover with the hearts.
I wonder if he like gives that.
And she's walking. This is right before she died. That's the truck. I bet. And she looks directly at the camera, kind of knowingly. And then the thing says, "Stop! Don't walk!" And she walks. Now she's not walking down the same street, but same thing. And she sees him passing him, and he can time travel. And then she starts falling through the time. Seems to me like she can fucking time travel. And maybe she has the same link with Naoto. Possibly.
I'm thinking maybe she could time travel. However, at the same time, it could just be that she's like she's like almost falling through time. Like maybe
to her death.
Like maybe it's no matter how many times, like the future can be influenced, but some things can't be changed. Maybe that's also part, like that could be her character's role, is to be like, even though you tried to save her in the first place, like sometimes you can't. You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean.
Because you can't. The ending of this show can't just be, oh, literally every single thing got solved and every single thing is for the better now. Because always when there's a time travel aspect, or when you have the chance to redo something,
the changes are worse.
The changes are either worse or neutral, or they're better, but there was a personal price. Like, for the world it's better, but for you it's worth, there's always a cost And I'm wondering if she is going to be the cost.
I think she probably, if she did, okay, so here's one thing that I would say 90 to 92% certain of. There's someone else in the story that can time travel.
Yes.
I'm willing to bet on that. I think it's probably Hinata. If I had to pin it on one person, I would think it's Hinata. I think it's either Hinata or Kiseki. I don't think it's Kiseki. If I had to bet it on one person between the two of them, I would think it was Hinata. I think that's more fair. I think that the start of the story, where we started the story, was the end of her story. I think that she possibly went back trying to protect him this whole time, and thought that the reason that he left the gang, the reason that he was off on his own, is somehow related to the fact that she died on that day, and that was her protecting him like she said she would in the first episode. That was somehow, through time travel fuckery, what we saw was a better future for Takemichi, being a loser, having a boring life, but having a safe life, being able to live the rest of his life and possibly have a chance at a future. Maybe that's what she sacrificed herself for, and she could time travel all this time. And there is a version of Naoto that is either the same one, either Naoto knew the whole time and he was acting surprised when he was a kid, or that was the first time for Naoto figuring out about time travel when we saw it, and then he would go on to help Takemichi, and then maybe he's seeing different timelines each time or something. Maybe he is like, there's a version of him that's working with his sister either later, way after all of this, to try and save Takemichi, and he's trying to save both his sister and Takemichi, or trying to save his sister, and she says, no, this has to happen. I need to sacrifice myself for him. I love him, etc., and then he has to try and help and save him, or something. I think that she probably sacrificed herself for him. That's my guess. That's one of my many guesses, but I think that seems the most plausible to me right now. One thing I could say for 90 to 92% certainty, there's somebody else that can time travel. Hisaki knows more than he's saying. I think Naoto possibly knows more than he's saying, or he's more involved with time travel than he is just with Takemichi. I think Mikey is involved in time travel in some way. I don't think he can do it himself, but I think that he understands the influence to some degree.
Here's the other option. Kiseki could be, if he doesn't time travel, because I don't think Kiseki himself can time travel, but he could be like the version of Naoto to someone else who can time travel. You know what I mean? Where he's aware of all the timelines and can like plan it out, because I don't think that he's like gonna be the time traveling supervillain guy who's also just like, they're just jumping around in time together.
That's way too complicated.
That's just too much.
That's way too complicated.
But if he knows about it, as well, like, there's
he knows about it.
He knows about it.
He knows about it. He knows about it. Okay, two most certain things. Somebody else can time travel. He knows about time travel. One further thing, I don't think that Takemichi's being pushed was an accident. I think that was on purpose. Mm-hmm. I think that Hinata's death was on purpose, 100%. That's one thing that I'm 100% certain on. Her death was not an accident. Takemichi's death was not an accident. Those are the two things I'm most certain of. And then other people, like all the other stuff, I'm also less certain of, but still guessing. That's our theory. Yeah. Well, we're gonna move on to the next episode. Anything else you want to say?
Oh, I was just gonna end it because you always get mad when I don't end it, but then you did. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this discussion. It was a fat one. And you can subscribe to our Patreon right now if you want to see our next fat discussion, because I feel like there might be a lot for this show.
Yeah, I think you're going to want to see it. And hopefully you can look back on this episode when we're done the show and laugh at how dumb we are, or be blown away at how fucking incredibly smart we are. Hope you enjoyed. Most of all, I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.